Hey there, Math 112 students. Somebody's asking about this on the discussion board. I'm going to just talk about it a little bit. This is about what is your original function. That's where the confusion lies here. Um, I, when I asked this question years ago, I'm sure that's what I was getting at. But there's a difference between the following two questions. So I want to answer a different question first, and I think in doing so, it will clarify where the confusion is. So here's a different question. Let's call this part C, even though that wasn't part C of the question. What is this was a question about water in a vat. What is the highest amount of water in vat B on the interval from t equals 0 to t equals 7? These two questions are not the same. And usually the mistake people make on question D here is they assume they are the same. Okay, what do I mean by that? These are both global max questions, but they're talking about different functions. So in this setting, b of t, and let's remove the b for a second. Let's just think about it as a function. We have y equals negative t squared. Let me make sure I'm not going off my screen here. Yep, I'm going off the screen. So just one second. Let me fix my error here. Erase that. Yep. There we go. Got to be careful of my space. Okay, so let's pretend. So I think we get too stuck on a function being given and it being named that we lose track of what we're doing. Okay, so this represents the gallons. This is the amount of water in there. If you take the derivative, it gives you a new formula, and that new formula is negative 2t plus 8. That represents the rate. That's gallons per hour. So let's go to the very top of this page and think about two functions. There's a function negative. Let's remove the b and let's remove the derivative, everything from the story, and just consider two formulas. There's a formula. What's another formula we have in this problem? There's another formula. If somebody asked you the global max of a problem, it's going to be different if they're asking for the global max of this or the global max of this. Those are different formulas. Question C, what is the highest amount of water in vat B, is asking for the global max of this function, negative t squared plus 8t plus 30. And we have a technique for that. This one's asking for the highest rate. The rate is this other piece, and so this one's asking for the global max of y equals negative 2t plus 8. The approach to these questions are the same, but they're starting in a different place. They're asking about a different function. What students often say to me is they go, but this formula is already the derivative of something else, so are you asking me to do the second derivative? And that sort of question misses the point. This is not the derivative of, it is the derivative of something else, but it's just a formula we're being asked to maximize. That's really the point of these questions. Okay, so there's our two functions. The question was actually asking this question, the global maximum of negative 2t plus 8. So I don't think about it as the derivative of something else. I just go, this is the formula I'm trying to maximize. Okay, so let's review the technique. The technique is either as at an endpoint or a critical point. So if this were your function and you were trying to find the maximum amount, you would plug in 0. So one of your y values would be negative 0 squared plus 8 times 0 plus 30, and that would be 30 gallons. Another y value would be negative 7 squared. This is not what the question asked, but I'll do it anyways. So that would be negative 49. I'm just going to do a quick calculation of this. I won't show you the calculator. Negative 49 plus 56 plus 30. Apologies here. So this is 37. And then you always have to do some more work to figure out if there's any other values you have to deal with. So you take the first derivative of whatever you're analyzing, set that equal to 0, you get t equals 4. 4 is between 0 and 7. Maybe I'll just put a little mark here so I don't forget what I plugged in. And then you'd plug in 4. That would be negative 4 squared plus 8 times 4 plus 30. So that would be negative 16 plus 32 plus 30. That's 46. And so the maximum amount of water in the tank from 0 to 7 hours would be 46 gallons. We know it has to be one of those three, and that one's the biggest. That is not what this question was asking. The question D was asking, what is the highest rate? So it was saying, what is the biggest this formula can be from 0 to 7? So what do? You plug in 0. So we're going to do the value at 0, negative 2. And so students are like, hold on, you're plugging into the derivative. No, I'm not. I'm plugging into the thing it's asking me to optimize. The thing it's asking me to optimize is the rate. This is the formula for the rate. You wouldn't plug into something else. If you're optimizing the rate, you'd plug into the rate. The rate is our original function. So I used to do more questions like this just to sort of say, you need to understand where you're at. So this is 8 gallons per hour. And then we need to know at 7 what it is. So this is negative 2 times 7 plus 8. So that's going to be negative 6 gallons per hour, which is weird. It's losing. I don't know. Losing? Yeah. Anyways, then we need to take the derivative. The derivative of this is negative 2. We set it equal to 0, and there are no solutions to this. Never. So this function does not have any critical values, which is good news because that means there's nothing else you have to plug in. And so the maximum rate has to be one of those two. Now you can actually do this problem without any calculus at all because y equals negative 2t plus 8 is a line if you just think about it as a function itself. And a line, a decreasing line, is going to be maximum right there at 8. So this was a question about sort of keeping us honest. If the question's asking for the maximum of whatever, you have to identify what the starting function is. In this case, the starting function was negative 2t plus 8 because it was asking about the rate. That's what told me that. If the question was asking about the amount, the starting function would be this. Our techniques apply to any situation, but you do have to identify where you're starting. So I hope that sort of clarifies what that was about.